A woman cannot be trusted to lead because her emotions gets in the way of rationale. She'll burn this motherfucker down out of spite and regret it once it's burned down. That's why she gotta nurture. She can't come out front and dictate and analyze and give instructions. She gotta nurture. Because when her emotions get involved, homie, her logic goes out the window. And she's loyal to her emotions. She's not loyal to what's right. She's not loyal to her man. She's not loyal to her children. She's loyal to her emotions. Because when mama don't feel like it and mama tired, mama tell you go sit your ass down somewhere, boy, I'm not having this today. She's loyal to her emotions. And she will sit motherhood aside till she gather her emotions. And that shouldn't be the case.
He even called for termination of the United States Supreme, the supreme land of our nation, the United States Constitution.
You have termites in your smile.
When's the last thing you saw that you were like, damn, the price has gone up? Gas, food, eggs, milk, quite literally everything. What the f***? Pick me Sorry. You don't know each other? Sorry. How do you feel about inflation?
That was rude.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Whatever. Shit happens.
Finally, someone uses the term correctly, and this isn't the only term that needs widespread correction. Guys, this goes without saying, but feminism, in a nutshell, is a broad attack. Its sole objective is to redefine the world, and that's petty. Well, since it's YouTube, let's just go with stupid. To us, lonely fans are dollar store street hustlers. To modern women, it's entrepreneurship. To us, the Western marriage is a detonator strapped around your waist. To them, it's an easy payday. To us, leadership, loyalty, drive, and determination, these are a handful of words under the umbrella of masculinity. To the modern woman, masculinity is war, greed, corruption, lies, and extortion. The obvious problem with this last one is that the negatives are human traits, the kind of characteristics people have when they're at a low point and resort to uncivilized behavior. And, well, as far as we can see, only one demographic checks all of those boxes, and it ain't us.
It's lunchtime and I'm starved right out of her. Oh, man, why does my lunch look like it's 32 and ready to settle down? Oh.
Spit water at you.
What exactly do you mean?
I think it's amazing that, like, think of the farmer shortages or, like, hunting and farming is a thing of the past because we literally have, like, grocery stores and we can order a pizza, like, whenever we want. And so we don't have to worry about...
What are you talking about?
The age of farming is virtually over because we can just go to the grocery store or we could call in a pizza.
Where do you think this stuff gets to the grocery store from?
What do you mean?
Like, where does the grocery store get its groceries?
The grocery store has its own, like, infinite supply.
And we wonder why the government has taken over these industries in less than a decade. Men, if this recent Western race has taught us anything, it's that those in power seem to crave elects who don't understand how the world works. Seriously, for the last 4 years, countries like the US have been better off going to a public elementary school and bringing a toddler and his crayons to the Oval Office. But, as always, these losers keep asking questions like, will the US ever be ready for a female president? And I find myself wondering how long it's going to take before the answer becomes clear, that this is never a good idea. Former President Bill Clinton and Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican from South Carolina, don't agree on much. Yet recently, the ideological adversaries found some common ground on a political question that has quietly endured over nearly 2 decades. Yes, a woman can win the White House, they agree, but she's probably going to be conservative.
What? Yo, ma!
Are there women out there, governors, Republican, Democrat, that can be the next president of the United States? Absolutely, Mr. Graham said in an interview on Capitol Hill this month. If you have a Republican female nominee, they would have a good shot of being the first woman president. A few days earlier and several hundred miles north, Mr. Clinton, whose wife tried and failed twice to win the White House, made a similar argument. Ideologically, the people who are most likely to be against women are most likely to be conservative, so when people agree with you, it's easier to be for them, he said in an appearance at the DealBook Summit hosted by the New York Times. But I think a woman can be elected president. I do.
Where's your evidence?
Their similar predictions are the latest in a conversation that has frustrated and foiled 2 generations of female candidates. For Democrats still scarred by Hillary Clinton's loss to Donald J. Trump in 2016, Vice President Kamala Harris's defeat at the hands of the same man in November has only deepened anxieties over gender bias and prompted a fresh round of debate over the electability of women to the nation's highest office. While few will say so aloud, some Democrats are already quietly hoping their party doesn't nominate a woman in 2028, fearing she could not overcome an enduring hold of sexism on the American electorate. Many others anticipate another, perhaps even more aggressive, round of questions and doubts about female presidential candidates that have plagued the party for the better part of 2 decades.
Stupid. You're stupid.
People feel pretty stung by what happened, said Liz Schuler, the first woman elected to lead the AFL-CIO, the largest federation of unions in the country, who supported Ms. Harris and believes she made no significant missteps in the race. She totally overperformed and yet fell short, so it does feel like that sucker punch of like, wow, even when you do everything right, the glass ceiling is still elusive. If I have to read the words glass ceiling one more time, I'll dox myself and put a bounty on my own head. Ladies, simps, this campaign you're referring to was never a triumph. You spend millions of dollars on celebrities to come out and share French philosophy and pontificate about nothing for hours, and half the time they have issues reading the script or just fail to articulate their opinions because, you guessed it, every rational man, woman, and child you knew were idiots.
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
But you're still drunk.
One more. I knew it.
You did not know it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done it. And I don't think I have to tell you guys who this chick voted for. Moreover, the resistance toward female leadership people is a bipartisan concern. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been a majority vote. Honestly, what kind of procedure makes people this blind to the Western shift and what it represents?
Okay, here's another one.
For decades, advocates for female political leaders argued that if more women ran for president, their presence in American politics would become normalized and one would eventually win the White House. Since Mrs. Clinton's first attempt to break what she called that highest, hardest glass ceiling in 2008. 9 other women have vied for a major party's nomination.
My neck is killing me. It's fucking killing me.
Those candidates have been conservative and liberal, racially diverse, and from big cities, small towns, and across the country. Some campaigned on an economic message, others focused on social issues. Only 2, Mrs. Clinton and Ms. Harris, both Democrats, captured their party's nomination.
Some legal, some not.
As they process the second defeat of a female nominee, Democrats are divided over the question of how much Ms. Harris's gender actually contributed to her loss, making it hard to divine what exactly that could mean for their party in 2028. 2 weeks before Election Day, Ms. Harris openly dismissed concerns that sexism could hurt her chances, saying in an interview with NBC News that the country was absolutely ready to elect a female president. She rarely mentioned her gender or her race during her brief campaign, a choice that reflected both her personal approach to barrier-breaking opportunities and the long-running Democratic anxieties about female nominees.
And as a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a bitch. Turn that off.
Now, after her defeat, few Democrats dispute that sexism was a factor in a race against a man who had been found liable for abuse. A verdict Mr. Trump called a disgrace and has long made hypermasculinity part of his political brand.
Rock and roll.
I do not think that this race swung solely on her being a woman, but I think that you cannot look at a woman and not think that didn't have an impact on this race. Jen O'Malley Dillon, Ms. Harris's campaign chair, told a group of strategists, journalists, and academics gathered for a campaign post-mortem at Harvard this month. We are fooling ourselves if we don't think that there is an element of her being a woman that was harder for people to see as comfortably, perhaps.
They don't need me.
Senator Tammy Baldwin, Democrat of Wisconsin, who won a tough re-election race against a male candidate in November, said she saw more traditional political factors playing a larger role in Ms. Harris's defeat, noting that she heard very little focus on her gender or the barrier-breaking potential for her candidacy. This was a change election. If people are expressing that they're concerned about the direction of the country, they're not going to vote for the incumbent party, she said. It has much more to do with that than I think the fact that Kamala Harris is a woman. The results indicate that, yet again, voters were not particularly motivated by a desire for greater female representation. Despite the liberal hope that women would flock to her candidacy over issues like blank rights, Ms. Harris won the lowest level of support from female voters of any Democratic nominee since 2004, according to an analysis by the Center for American Women and Politics at Rutgers University. Looks like I have to explain this to you like you're a 5-year-old. Women do not like to answer to women. There, I hope that was clear enough. I've said this before about feminism, but the reason it will never have any real future is an obvious one. Chicks hate each other, and fighting against biology will not prevent their inclination to elect a man, no matter who it is, because under female leadership, literally no one is safe. The latest generation makes that pretty clear.
Are you ready to pay now?
I don't know why you have the card machine. I'm actually not going to pay. I'm an influencer.
But you have to pay. You're in our shop eating, so you have to pay.
I actually don't know if your manager's not told you something, but I'm actually an influencer. I've never paid anywhere I've gone, so I'm not going to start now.
Bro, who do you think you are? Like, you're coming to our shop eating, obviously you have to pay.
Okay, get your flipping grubby hands out of my face, first of all. Second of all, do you know how many followers I have?
I don't care how many followers you have. You don't have enough followers for me to know you. So if you're not going to pay, get out of my shop.
Okay, first of all, I know for a fact you're not the manager. Literally, look what you're wearing. I know for a fact you're not the manager, so I don't know who you think you're talking to, and then watch how bad of a review I post just because of the way you just spoke to me.
Bro, we don't care. Just get out of our shop.
You know what? You just told me to get out. Watch how I post this video, and we'll see what happens online, yeah?
Bro, post this video.
And now the kids need to be online to help get their homework done. Broadband wire, why do we care about that? We're going to lay it across the country because we know that our seniors might need the benefit of telemedicine if it's too far to get to a hospital. Our small business owners need access to high-speed broadband to run those small businesses that are part of what fuels America's economy.
That's enough internet for me today. I am going to wash myself with holy water.
Yeah, more women online. That'll fix the mounting crisis. Great job. Again, this isn't even a political issue as much as it is directly cultural. These people lost track of the Western pulse. They became so delusional that they thought, hey, why don't we just attack all of the men that make the country run efficiently? You guys not only believed that would work, but you thought men would vote for it.
I don't understand. I don't understand you.
Some elected officials say they believe that only a female candidate with a strong and uncompromising political brand will be able to overcome such gender bias. Both Mr. Clinton and Mr. Graham cited what the South Carolina senator called the Margaret Thatcher mold, evoking the famously tough conservative leader who became Britain's first female prime minister in 1979.
Footsteps and
Fair or not, I think that Republican women are seen as stronger on national defense, Ms. Collins said. So far, at least, such conservative bona fides haven't been enough. No woman has won the Republican nomination, and Nikki Haley's victories in the 2024 District of Columbia and Vermont primaries were the first presidential primary wins by a Republican woman. Some of those who have been at the center of such debates seem visibly exhausted by the subject of female electability.
Understandably so.
In January 2019, just days after she began her presidential bid, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, steadfastly refused to engage with questions of sexism. "I'm going to keep fighting on the issues because I think that's what matters most," she said in an interview on Capitol Hill. Yeah, good luck with that. And a quick history lesson, ladies. Thatcher won because she pushed for a return to traditionalism, okay? She fed and served her husband and Parliament peers. She actually knew how to cook. Did she end up slipping at the end? Yes, but that was because she started ignoring the advice of her peers, who were, oh right, men.
Hear me out. Girls should be getting a paycheck every single month from the government for simply just existing.
Why?
Why? Because we have way more essential things that we have to buy, and I don't think it's fair that we have to buy those with our own money.
I wonder, where do they think all this free money is going to come from?
Also, we like to shop way more than men do, so it's only fair that we get a paycheck every month.
They really do walk among us, don't they?
You know how those lids are, because this is, well, I'm just going to speak, okay? So this is it. So you know how those lids on those Starbucks cups, they're white, right? And so if you wear lipstick, they get all over the lid. And so then I find myself in meetings if I'm the only woman, and that's kind of, and so I keep taking the lid off and having my cup out so that I don't have that big lipstick mark on the lid. So I said, can we do something about the color of the lid?
Yup, the West dodged a massive bullet on this one. Happy New Year, y'all. And if you made it to the end of this video, I want to say I appreciate you. So don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment to have a chance to win, and hit that sub button for daily videos. And if you could take a quick second to subscribe to the second channel, Man Guide Reacts, link is down below in the description so we can be sure our message will keep on reaching the new men out there. I appreciate all the support, y'all, and I wish you all tremendous success.